Welcome back to sunny South Florida for the AVP 2022 Fort Lauderdale Open. It's Championship Sunday, and next up a women's semifinal match. And for the introduction of our players, let's throw it down to Stadium Court and Mark Schurman.
Y'all ready for the semifinals? Yes, as am I. Let's meet the players, shall we? This first team playing in their first AVP together, but they were partners at USC. An absolutely incredible finish to their career. They are national champions. This first player originally out of Phoenix, Arizona. Let me hear it for Haley Harward. And her partner, who we are happy to have here on the AVP in the USA. She represented her country of Latvia at the Olympic Games, finishing with a very impressive 4th place finish out of Jurmala, Latvia. Let me hear it for Tina Graudina. And their opponents. First up, this player also out of USC. One of the best college volleyball players in history with partner Kelly Clays. She won so many national championships, multiple-time All-American. Ladies and gentlemen, you know her, you love her. She is Sarah Hughes. And her partner coming out of Pepperdine University. She is locked and loaded this weekend at the net. One of the best. Ladies and gentlemen, a 3-time AVP winner. It's Kelly Kolinske.
So there's the introduction of our players, and a huge influence of the NCAA beach volleyball system. All 4 of these players playing and competing for national championships here at the collegiate level. And now, the first time these two teams have met comes at the semifinal here in Fort Lauderdale. My name is Matt Prosser. Thanks for joining us. Rich Lamborn will join on later in the broadcast, and our on-court MC Mark Schurman as we are ready to get underway here. Sarah Hughes, Kelly Kolinske serving at Tina Graudina and Haley Harward here in the semifinal from Fort Lauderdale. First chance for Sarah Hughes on the counterattack, and she gets that ball past the block and down. Great defensive effort, and something that Kelly Kolinske does really well is that set in transition. So important is that very underrated skill and not very talked about very much. But Harward comes right back with a response and gets the side out. There's our first look at Haley Harward. Started her college volleyball career at Long Beach State, then transferred over to USC for her graduate season to play beach volleyball. She was a national championship and got to know her partner very well, Tina Graudina. And Sarah Hughes, an alumni of USC's beach volleyball program. But another transition point opportunity is taken advantage of by Sarah Hughes that time from the right side. Kelly Kolinske will serve through the middle. Good service pressure. Graudina on 2. Kolinske nearly gets the gator dig, but out of reach of Sarah Hughes to run that one down, and a side out for Graudina Harward. So this is their first tournament together as partners. Only Tina's second AVP event of her career, as she plays heavily on the international tour for Latvia. Sarah Hughes comes right back with the right side attack there for the point. And for Hughes Kolinske, their 3rd tournament as partners. You can see they have 6 combined wins, 3 each on the AVP tour. Sarah's serve goes out through the end line.
It is 3-3, wanted to switch. Haley Harward at the line.
Classic South Florida weather here on Championship Sunday. It's warm, that breeze coming off the Atlantic, working on Kelly Kolinske. Through the middle here, goes off the net, just gets out of bounds. There's a real point for Harward and Graudina on the side switch. 4-3 for the 8-seeded team, who's pulled off a couple of big upsets in this event.
We're going to make our first final here on the AVP.
Took down the 1 seed, took down the 4 seed. Been a good run for Tina Graudina and Haley Harward as she misses that serve into the net. Good serve down the line at Harward. Graudina goes with the option, but Hughes is there. And once again, the transition attack leads to another point for Hughes and Kolinske. Now it's 5 serving 4. This is the second match of the day for Hughes and Kolinske. They got the win earlier over Brandy Wilkerson and Zanamuno. Meanwhile, for Graudina and Harward, this is their first match of the day. Sarah Hughes playing some great defense and scoring on that transition attack. Hughes from way off the net, able to drive that ball down the middle and score. And now it's 6-4 in favor of Kolinske and Hughes. Harward answers right back with the right side attack. Here is Tina Graudina getting ready to serve once again for her side. Working over to Sarah Hughes. Tight set. Howard runs it down. Graudina makes the long run, gets it up. They get it back over. Another opportunity for Hughes. Off the block, deflection over on one, but Harward misses that time. Hughes was there. The big effort given from both sides as that point goes to Hughes and Kolinske. Big effort put out by that player right there, Haley Harward. Only her 10th AVP event. 24-year-old from Phoenix, now lives in Southern California. Sarah Hughes will serve. Down the line to Haley. Inside Hughes with another dig. And Hughes turns it again for a real point. Transition attacking from Sarah Hughes and Kelly Kolinske is on point here in early stages of this match. Now a 3-point advantage for Hughes and Kolinske through the middle. Harward showing that she has some range and slices that one for the short cut shot and the point.
Sarah Hughes and Kelly Kolinske
takes us to her side switch.
Three-time winners on the AVP. Haley Harward with 1 third-place finish coming earlier this year. Tina Graudina playing in just her second of hopefully many AVPs in her young career.
So again, this is the first time these two teams have faced off across the net in competition. Sarah Hughes finished up at USC in 2017. Well, Tina Graudina came in the next year in 2018. Graudina then moving on to play in the Olympics in Tokyo for Latvia. And finding a way here in Fort Lauderdale. So it's 9 serving 6. Kolinske will serve through the middle. Harward just misses down the lineup. Another hitting error and a point getting scored over to Kolinske. I'm being told that Rich Lamborn has joined the broadcast. Perfect timing, right as Graudina Harward called their timeout. Rich, what's your take so far from this match? We'll get a look at our stats here in just a minute. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, Matt. I don't have much of a tip. I apologize. I was dealing with some technical issues trying to join you, but it looks like from what I've seen that Kolinske and Hughes have made a little run here and have gotten themselves out in front. You tell me, what's your take? I always look at that hitting percentage, and when there's 300 points of difference, you got to like your chances as a team.
Sorry to put you on the spot right there, Rich. Just wanted to get you back into the broadcast. But yeah, hitting percentage for sure in favor of Hughes and Kolinske is a big one, but also the dig, 6-3 in favor of Sarah Hughes. And we don't have a stat for this, but her scoring off of those digs has got to be either 5 out of 6 or maybe even perfect at 6 out of 6, because every time she gets a dig, it seems that Kolinske and Hughes are able to transition it for a point. Well, can you speak on how important it is to turn those opportunities into real points here on the AVP Tour, Rich?
Well, I mean, it's the critical piece of winning, right? There's kind of this progression that we would talk about a lot, like touches lead to digs, digs lead to points, right? So you got to get those touches on the ball. You hopefully control those and turn them into digs, and then you go from there and hopefully turn those into points, right? The more opportunities you create, the greater your chances of scoring. But the higher percentage at which you can convert those, I don't know, puts less pressure on you in that you don't have to create as many opportunities, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Thanks for that insight, Rich, as we see a hitting error from Graudina, and then Harward is able to come back and score from the right side to make up point. We're halfway, well, nearly halfway through here, set number 1, but it's been all Sarah Hughes and Kelly Kolinske so far. There's Tina Graudina serving. And there's a service ace by Tina Graudina.
Yeah, leads are not insurmountable out here. My guys just finished up a match where we started 0-7 and 2-5 and all that kind of stuff, and ended up winning the match.
Sarah Hughes comes right back with the option attack. Not something you see from her very often, but she takes full advantage of it and scores the point.
That was a sentence stopper right there.
It's hard to make you speechless sometimes, Rich. There's another dig for Hughes. Picked up from Tina, though. And Graudina is able to score the point, but Hughes and Kolinske don't like that dig and the no call in that rally.
Yeah. I think the way the rules are set up, I think that dig was fine. It did necessitate a great play from Graudina and Harward just to keep themselves within 3, though. So you got to like the pressure that Kolinske and Hughes are still keeping on their opponents, even if they don't score that particular point.
So here's a look at the bracket, where we stand as of right now. Obviously here on Stadium Court, Graudina Harward taking on Hughes Kolinske. On Court 1, the 2 seed, Chang and Flint taking on the 11th seeded team, Scholes and Urango, in semifinal number 2. Obviously the winners will meet in the finals scheduled for later this afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern time. So be sure to come back for that one. It should be an entertaining finals championship Sunday here from Fort Lauderdale.
And Scholes Urango taking the first out there over the 2 seed after dispatching Clove and Noose earlier this morning. Nuss, excuse me.
Upsets abound on the women's side all weekend long. The 11th seed looking to make a final. Meanwhile, here on this court, the 8th seed taking on the 3 seed. And for another upset along their path through the event, as we get a look at some of that next-gen statistics for the players of Kelly Kolinske and Sarah Hughes. Short serve from Harward goes over to Hughes on the right side. There's a chance for Tina. Defense from both sides. Kolinske resets, hits that one cross court, but misses the hands and goes out of bounds. Let's go a hard-fought point there for Graudina and Harward.
And they're a little bit of a misleading 8 seed, if you will, right? Very experienced. We mentioned Tina Graudina's international resume. And of course, they played together some at SC and have national championships to their credit.
Harward missing that attack back to the line. And it's back to that 3-point advantage for Hughes and Kolinske. See, the wind has actually calmed down a little bit, but coming straight across the court, so no real good side, bad side per se today. There's some good creative offense from Graudina and Harward to get the side out and score the point, Rich.
And one of my good buddies, Louis Lett, British commentator, calls that cheeky little short shot.
It certainly was a cheeky shot from Haley Harward there. Good serve down the middle. Deflection off the block, and Harward's able to sack Graudina right up at the net. No blocker in front of her, and another real point scored by Harward Graudina.
And we saw a lot of this out of them yesterday, didn't we, Matt? Just kind of the non-stop grind, neck-and-neck battles.
Yeah, good battle back and forth as you see some of that live statistics and analytics from Haley Harward with a 33-inch jump, the highest we've seen here today on Stadium Court. Showing the athleticism and explosiveness of Haley Harward.
Quite frankly, that just hurts my feelings, because on a hard court, I don't know if I ever got that high as a player.
It was a long time ago when you played an outside hitter role for BYU before changing over to that other position where you wore the opposite color jersey for your team.
Yeah. My players like to point out that's back when the ball was essentially just a rubber bag of sand.
Oh man, we are getting the dizzy bats.
Hand stitched in all one color. Right?
We did play with the all white ball, which you never see anymore.
3 people per bat? How did we get new bats? I thought we only had 5 bats. We got enough bats.
So timeout being called here, and you can see Hughes, Kolinske having a little powwow with their coach, Evie Matthews, former Canadian player turned international beach volleyball coach. Good strategy discussion. Rich, how important and useful is it to have a coach in the box during a semifinal, let alone just during a tournament period?
We come out of the boxes in the clean.
It depends a little bit on what your team dynamic is, you know what I mean? My guys split time, as do a lot of these teams, between the ABP and the international tour, where coaching during matches isn't allowed. So obviously here where we can be in the box and so forth, I'll have some discussions. If I have some insight that I think is useful, I'll try and add it. But I like to let my guys lead, because on the World Tour, that's what they've got to do. They've got to navigate matches themselves, right? So each team is different. I think if you're used to having a coach there, it's very, very important. If it's not part of your team thing, it's maybe a little less important.
Yeah, you bring up a good point, trying to solve the riddle sometimes of what the other team is doing across the net. And coming into a match, you have a strategy, but sometimes you've got to call a few audibles and change up that strategy if it's not working. And it's definitely something a coach can do. But you're right, on the international tour, unfortunately, you're not able to coach your team during match play, especially not in the player box. Fortunately for our players here on the AVP, they do get to get that input and insight from their coaches during tournaments. Chance for Sarah Hughes, goes for the short shot, but Tina picks it up. Tight play at the net, over on 1 though. Graudina running everywhere, and the hard work pays off. She scores the point, and they take the lead here late in set number 1, 15-14.
Yeah, just unbelievable scrap from both teams there, and it pays off in the end for Harward Graudina. You know, I like the point you bring up, Matt, about changing your tactics. You know, everyone kind of goes into a match with a set game plan, but the best teams in the world, I think, are those that are capable of adjusting on the fly as needed. right? You kind of real time try and figure out what is working, what's not working, what little upgrades can we make in our tactics to kind of impose our will on our opponents, so to speak.
And you see those teams that have played together longer, and also those teams with a coach that are able to make those adjustments throughout a match. Harward with great vision there to see the open court in the angle as she cuts that one past Kolinske and down.
Great vision, and you could hear the good communication from her partner as well, calling the angle.
Tough serve from Graudina over to Kolinske's line. But she's able to pass it and then get the cut shot to fall right back. Good service pressure there from Graudina, trying to get to Kolinske's line, but the veteran, Kelly Kolinske, able to get the side out. Ties up at 16. You know, here's Harward from the right. Cut shot. Gets a little help from the net system and drops down for the point.
And just gets it to crawl over.
Just like she practices it. Back to that 1-point advantage on the side out. Can they add to it here? It's good down the middle. Free balled over. Set a little off the net. Harward can't handle it and gets that ball out. So a lost opportunity there for Graudina and Harward.
Now that earmarked that one, that could be a big one. That would have been huge for them, especially from that kind of the worst of the two sides.
So Kelly Kolinske jump serves down the middle, taken by Harward. They've been serving her exclusively in this first set. Big swing, but Hughes with the dig. That set goes over the net. And Graudina gets the ball past Sarah Hughes' block and down for the point and the side switch.
You see a lot of the serves going to the Oceanside player, which is where our grandstands are, right? You see that wind whipping in off the water. And so serving into that player gets the wind to help your serve, and also it makes it difficult to set that player into the wind, right? And that kind of accounts for some of the, I don't know, missed sets, we would call them, that you're seeing in transition in particular here from everybody.
Yeah, that wind always a factor, especially as the rally ensues and puts more pressure on that second contact. Kolinske hips it through the block, but Harward gets it over on one. Counterattack chance now for Graudina with nobody up in front of her. Hughes with another dig. Got a long rally here. Nicely done. Kelly Kolinske scoring on the option play.
A really good dig there midway through that rally. Nobody up, Graudina unloads, and Sarah Hughes just stood in there, scooped it.
So 18-18 now in the business end of set number one. Hughes will serve. Tough serve down the line to Harward. Good set, though, all the way up to the net, off the block and out of bounds. And a great side out there for Graudina Harward.
Yeah, critical juncture in this first set and an amazing recovery. That great set by Graudina that you mentioned.
Oh, Sarah Hughes with an untimely hitting error down the line and wide. And that will give Graudina Harward their first opportunity at set point here. Threw it off the tape, taken by Hughes. Hard off the block goes Sarah Hughes. And they fight off that first set point.
A great job just to keep that ball off the sand, and then a good set from Kolinske and a great put away, Sarah Hughes.
So set point opportunity number 2 now for Harward Graudina with the option. She hits it out. We are tied at 20s.
That was the right decision. She had the wide open spot, just barely missed it.
Overtime volleyball here in this semifinal, set number 1. Hughes with the diving save. Graudina has to track it down. Players everywhere. Hughes with another chance. Nobody up, and she hits it out of bounds. Point goes to Graudina Harward.
Yeah, you
So
hate to
another
see the
set
hitting
point
errors, but
for
you love to see
point number 2.
effort get rewarded.
Graudina will serve now. Set point number 2 for her side. They go over to Kolinske. And Kelly misses down the line. The hitting error gives the 22nd point to Harward Graudina, and they take set number 1, 22-20. Here in this semifinal matchup on Stadium Court. Stay with us. Come back for set number 2 right after this quick break from Fort Lauderdale. AVP is brought to you by Terramana Small Batch Tequila. Bring the mana. Clean Skin, high-performance sunscreen and skincare products for the outdoor lifestyle. By White Claw Hard Seltzer. And by Sky Vodka, made with water enriched by Pacific Minerals for a fresher tasting vodka and soda.
Get ready for a whole new wave of White Claw. New full flavor White Claw Surf. Sensational refreshment for a taste like no other.
We all know it's a good idea to recycle. But what happens to that aluminum can or all that paper after you put it in the recycling bin? Where does it go? What does it become in its second life? See how WM is always working for a sustainable tomorrow at WM.com/stories.
It's the choices we make that define us.
Try and Trevor's coming off a tough, heartbreaking loss.
And ultimately, the enemy is within. Some people want it. Some wish for it. But others make it happen.
Try and Trevor's super lethal, bringing fire and passion to the court.
How will you take charge?
And welcome back to Fort Lauderdale, Florida for the AVP Pro Series Fort Lauderdale Open. And then semifinal between Tina Graudina and Haley Harward versus Kelly Kolinske and Sarah Hughes. Glance at our statistics through one set of play. Overtime action, 22-20 in favor of Graudina Harward. Matt Prosser alongside Rich Lamborn for this one. Thanks for joining us. Pretty evenly fought match there so far through one set. Getting ready for set number 2. Rich, what do you expect here?
I was amazed by how close all those statistical categories were, right? We saw that both teams had a ton of ground out there, lots of defense, and as such, the hitting percentage for both teams wasn't that great, kind of peaking at 210 or so, I think it was. So I would look for them to try and clean that up a little bit, but you never know. Both of these teams amazing on defense.
Good follow, it finishes out of bounds.
You're absolutely right. Great defense being played from all of these players. As the first point of set number 2 goes over to Harward and Graudina. Something to throw in here really fast about the history of the players that are going on right now. 6 out of the 8 semifinalists this weekend played their college beach volleyball at the University of Southern California, USC. They were Trojans. In the last event in Hermosa Beach, there were 5 of 8 semifinalists that had played their college volleyball at USC. So that program really putting out some talent. And now seeing them pursue their professional careers here on the AVP Tour.
Also,
Harward.
1 out of 3 commentators have USC affiliations, and so that's why we have those kind of stats.
Yeah, we do have to give credit to our partner Dane Blanton for that fun fact. So Tina Graudina back to action. So serve over to Kelly Kolinske, who's on the bad side, but she's able to take care of it, get the side out over the block and down. So Rich, after a very evenly fought set number 1, 2-point difference after all those defensive efforts. What's going to be the difference here in set number 2 if Harward and Graudina are able to win this match in 2 straight sets?
Yeah, I think it's just going to be who can kind of play the cleanest game, so to speak, right? We saw hitting errors hurt both teams late in that second set. Graudina had a swing for that first set and hit it out, kept Kolinske and Hughes in there, and then they immediately followed that up with 2 hitting errors of their own that gave the set to Graudina and Harward. So obviously you don't want to give your team free points, especially when you're in those neck-and-neck battles. So the team that can kind of keep their side of the net the cleanest, I think, is going to come away with this one.
Well, Kolinske with a hitting error on that previous play, and they go right back to her. Harward's there for a dig, and now a chance. Hughes breaks to the line, gets a dig. There's a transition opportunity for her, but Graudina is there at the net for the block. So a 5-2 lead here early on in set number 1 for Graudina Harward. As you see here, that's not a good stat if you're a fan of Hughes Kolinske. 0-5 when losing the first set.
You could see it on that first side change too, right? They made 1 or 2 mistakes. It's just so difficult if you're playing a team that plays the defense that Harward and Graudina do, and then you give them free points on top of it, right? You're just kind of digging yourself a hole that's really difficult to come out of.
Well, you never want to give away too many points as we see a service error, but yeah, if you make a couple hitting errors, you've got to make sure you come right back and play some cleaner volleyball. And like you said, Rich, don't dig yourself too deep of a hole here, because as you get later on into a tournament, semifinals, finals, championships, it's very hard to get out of that hole. Height pass there, joust at the net. Second chance here for Graudina on the right side. Goes off of Kolinske's blocking out of bounds.
Harward, Graudina with the tool for the finish, 6-3.
Yeah, and if you're Kolinske and Hughes, you know, the challenge for you is to not get too amped up, not press, right? Just, even though you're trailing a set and trailing a couple points, you got to just play your game to the best of your ability and trust that that's going to get the job done. But when you start pressing, that's when you start to add mistakes. That's a nice save there.
One of the best in the game.
Great save by Sarah Hughes. Hughes and Kolinske, a newer team, they paired up over the offseason, but for Graudina and Harward, talk if you can quickly, Rich, about the experience that they have on the college ranks This is their first professional event together in full honeymoon phase of this partnership, but they're experienced as well.
Yeah, it's got to be interesting, and I have no frame of reference on this myself, but to go from being so successful as a collegiate pair to test that against the professionals must be fun. Obviously, we've talked at length about Tina's international resume, even in the medal rounds in Tokyo last summer in the Olympic Games. So she's got plenty of professional experience, but to try out your partnership against the pros has got to be exciting for them, and nobody, I think, that knows either of them is surprised that they're in the semifinal here.
Certainly, and I'm certainly sure that these two players have been talking about partnering up on the AVP Tour for quite some time. Obviously, Tina has responsibilities to play for Latvia on the World Tour, and so probably some calendar conflicts and availability issues have come to play for Tina and Haley, but finally able to get their partnership set up here in Fort Lauderdale, and it's paying off for them.
Yeah, if you play both internationally and domestically, your calendar's pretty full as a beach volleyball player.
Hughes and Kolinske also competing on the World Tour. There's a good high line shot from Harward there over the block and down. And these teams are all just in the thick of it in terms of playing domestically. We've got a tournament next weekend in Atlanta. World Tour also going on. So a busy calendar schedule as Tina gets the service ace down the line.
Yeah, just an absolute BB down the line. We talked about how players are kind of serving at the oceanside player. Not there. Tina just goes right down the line with the spader.
Third ace of this match. Tina Graudina utilizing that jump float hybrid serve.
The winner of that plays the winner of this in the finals.
Statistics for Tina Graudina throughout this match so far, hitting a .667 hitting percentage right now. It's a pretty impressive number. Kolinske comes right back though with a good response and gets the cut shot to fall.
Yeah, that shot in particular has been quite successful for her in this match.
We've been talking a lot about the Trojan history here on this court, but Kelly Kolinske, Pepperdine Wave, played on their beach program and was quite successful herself. Obviously the wife of fellow men's volleyball player on the AVP Tour, Billy Kolinske. As we see a hitting error there from Graudina, and it's now a 2-point advantage, but Sarah Hughes will keep serving. On the line to Harward for the back set. She goes left-handed over to Hughes. And Hughes continues to score on the counterattack opportunities. She's been really, really good at that all match long. She does it once again there.
Yeah, that was a tough chance there. That set kind of blowing around a little bit, but she corrected it nicely for the point.
Hughes serves again, staying on Harward this time through the middle. Haley goes off the block and out of bounds.
Yeah, I like that footwork from Harward there. She really kind of stepped close to that ball that was blowing away from her. Still able to maintain that height on her swing.
Jump float serve through the middle, working on Kolinske now on the left. Her attack goes off the net and out of bounds. That's her second attack error from the left side so far in set number 2.
Yeah, again, had that court wide open, just the net interfered ever so slightly and sent it wide.
Quick glance at the stats for Haley Harward here throughout this match. Over on one, into the open court, and that one dropped. Nice vision from Haley Harward.
I really like her positioning defensively. She's just so balanced. You can see her slide laterally but maintain her neutral balance. It allows her to just see the open court on the dig and shoot it right over.
So Kolinske and Hughes find themselves down by 4, and they decide to call an early timeout here, just 1 point away from the technical timeout. Interesting choice of time here as we get a glance at some of our newest data and analytics here on Stadium Court. These numbers are a result of those black credit card-sized sensors that the players are wearing, showing and tracking their data on their highest jumps, the number of jumps throughout a set and match, the total distance traveled by each player. Trying to bring a new level of data and analytics to beach volleyball here, and a really exciting discussion point here from Stadium Court, Rich.
Yeah, those things are cool. Taylor Crabb and I threw them on in practice before the tournament just to help the guy test out, I don't know, some of the connection and so forth. And Taylor reminded me that's the closest I'll ever get to having a black card.
Well, you never know. I hear those are getting easier to get these days. But back to action now. 1 point from the technical timeout. Harward and Graudina will serve with that 4-point advantage. Staying on Kolinske. Wide set that time, and another dig, but it goes over. Hughes from the right. Howard makes a nice break.
That swing goes out of bounds.
No, but Haley misses it through the inline. So a good effort, but the point goes to Hughes Kolinske, and now we've reached our technical timeout. 12-9 in favor of Tina Graudina and Haley Harward.
They better make you work for it.
Yeah, a couple great reads there from Harward and Graudina, but just unable to pay it off at the end. It looked like that set drifted back just a touch, and even with that prodigious 33-inch jump out of the sand that we see from our statistics from Hayward, she just sends that one long.
So here's a quick glance at how these teams got to this point of the tournament. This is what the bracket currently looks like. 2 semifinals happening simultaneously. Out on court 1, they've entered into set number 3. Scholes and Urango currently ahead of Ching and Flint by 2 points. Obviously, Graudina and Harward taking on Hughes Kolinske. So, is it going to be the higher seeds advancing to the semifinal, or will we see perhaps the 8 and 11 seed face off in the championship final here later today? Only time will tell, as both matches still going on here from Fort Lauderdale. Matt Prosser alongside Rich Lambourne. Thanks for joining us wherever you are here watching the AVP Pro Series Fort Lauderdale Open. One thing we haven't talked about very much today, Rich, is the current weather conditions. It's a hot one out here on Stadium Court. Heat index hovering around 98, 99 degrees. Strong breeze off the Atlantic. Really, Hughes and Kolinske now down by 3. Tense moments. They've got to find something here to try to claw their way back into this set.
Ooh.
That option attack from Graudina going off of Kolinske's visor and sunglasses and out of bounds. So she's going to take a second to gather herself there.
Oof, right in the grill. Yeah, you're a blocker who got their head way over the net.
Graudina, one of the risks the blockers take when they're running up. Fortunately, the visor might have slowed it down a little bit, but still a little bit of a shot to the forehead there, but looks like she's okay, and we'll play on as Graudina gets ready to serve at 13-9 here in set number 2. Sarah Hughes gets the serve and earns the side out. Interesting strategy to go back to Sarah Hughes.
I agree with you. It is, that's probably a mistake to stay away from the person whose bell you just rung.
I had a feeling you were going to say that, Rich. You and I are on the same page. I would have gone back to Kolinske as well, but Graudina responds nicely with a high line shot off the block.
So fascinating how you can have a ball hit you with tremendous pace and feel almost nothing, and sometimes it hits you softly and just gets the right spot and waters your eyes up a little bit, right?
Kind of like your golf swing.
Fantastic play from
There's a point for Graudina. Harward is using Kolinske, can't get that dig up and over the net. And now a 5-point advantage for the 8-seeded team of Haley and Tina. Here's some stats from Haley throughout the match so far. Tracking her distance and jumps. Good vision there by Kelly Kolinske to go over the block with that knuckle shot.
Yeah, they're in a little bit of dire straits here. Graudina and Harward have just been smooth this whole set, and Kolinske Hughes have had a lot of trouble figuring out how to disrupt them. I mean, everything just falling for Graudina Harward.
Yeah, certainly everything going their way there as Tina gets pretty lucky going with that high roll shot. Bit of a jumbo to the middle back area. All Hughes and Kolinske can do is watch and hope that it goes out of bounds, but that ball was in, and it's now 16-11. Graudina will serve, inching closer, punching their ticket to the finals here in Fort Lauderdale. Oh, nearly another bump kill, but that one just goes a little bit wide, and will take us to a side switch. 16-12 here in set number 2.
Yeah, for those of you young volleyball players watching this, I just continue to be impressed by Harward's balance. You know, she's moving around, but she's doing so in a way that she can go any direction once the ball is actually hit, and that's a result of her keeping that kind of weight in between her feet, so to speak. It's really impressive.
So important to stay balanced, but Sarah Hughes comes right back and misses her serve at a very, very undesirable time of this match. Momentum continuing to stay on Graudina and Harward's side as Haley serves again over to Kolinske.
That's out of bounds, 18.
Oh, but the hitting error goes cross court and just misses the sideline. That's the third attacking error from Kelly Kolinske in set number 2. Just misses the sideline that time. Harward's there with the scoop. Can she turn it? Down the line, Haley does it. And it's going all their favor right now. Momentum clearly on their side. It's 19-12 here.
Yeah, just a great layout dig, and watch this elevation just with a 2-step drop and the no-looky cookie.
Now just 2 points away from punching their ticket to their first ever final on the AVP Tour. Haley Harward will serve through the middle. Over to Kolinske. Touch off the block. Here's a chance again, but Kolinske's there to shut it down.
Good save that time from Kelly. But another great dig on the side of Harward and Graudina. It's got to get frustrating when balls just won't hit the sand cleanly for you.
Kolinske serving. There's a service ace down the middle. Quick, easy point for them.
And we're going to take our final timeout of set number 2.
Graudina and Harward call a timeout before any momentum can change over to Sarah Hughes and Kelly Kolinske. Try to slow it down a little bit, catch their breath, and have a quick chat during the timeout.
Scholes, it's 2 points away on the outer court. Harward, Rumi, 2 points away on stadium court.
There's a glance at our stats, Rich. And it's all Graudina Harward here in set number 2.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that, didn't we? The team that could elevate their hitting percentage and keep it clean on their side. And I think we've seen that out of Graudina and Harward. I mean, kind of all the bounces have gone their way too, you could argue, but they've really put forth the effort and kept their play particularly clean on their side of the net.
Yeah, they certainly have all those statistics heavily weighted towards Graudina Harward, especially the digs and the hitting percentage, 2 things that have allowed them to build up this 5-point advantage here in set number 2 and get themselves into a position now just 2 points away from advancing to the championship finals here in Fort Lauderdale. Still some work to be done though. Kolinske trying to get her team back in it, coming off that service ace and the timeout. Harward through the middle, goes for the back set. Kolinske drops, gets the dig, but now just a free ball over. Graudina high off the hands, Hughes with a great save. There's another chance. Graudina on 2. And find it, Hughes with the dig. The rally here from both sides, the effort. Haley Harward down the line, finds the corner for the point.
Almost the paintbrush there, a little bit of fluff. Looked like a bit of a miss hit, but she will take it, and the effort is rewarded. Just some great defense both sides of the net there. Sarah Hughes laying out for a few. Harward able to put that away.
So the effort is rewarded, and that brings Tina Graudina and Haley Harward to match point here on stadium court. Graudina will serve. Pass from Kolinske, a free ball now. Can they do it? It's Harward from the left side. Oh, Kolinske with the hang and swat though. Says not yet.
Kolinske goes full Matumbo to keep their hopes alive here in this second set in this match.
Interesting choice there by Harward to go with the off-speed shot on match point. Maybe a little too conservative. They still have 5 more chances here at match point.
Here we go, 15 serving play.
Hughes will serve over to Harward. Match point opportunity number 2. Harward from the right. Hughes over on 1. Gets it to drop. We play on.
Yeah, good to have a handful of match points in your pocket, but you got to stay aggressive and close this out.
Can she be aggressive on this swing here? Her 3rd chance. Down the line, a roll shot. Hughes is there. Save from Graudina. Compromised approach, but Hughes with another chance. High over the block and down the line, so 3 match points saved by Sarah Hughes and Kelly Kolinske. And all 3 of those coming off of Haley Harward not scoring on their first chance inside out.
Yeah, I'd love to see her take a crack at this ball right here. You got to figure it's coming her way.
I was going to say the same thing. Harward's got to be aggressive and swing away here to score the point, but on 2, Graudina does it. Hughes can't handle that option play, and Tina Graudina, Haley Harward in full honeymoon phase punch their ticket to the finals here in Fort Lauderdale, getting the victory over Kelly Kolinske and Sarah Hughes on Stadium Court, Rich.
Yeah, just a particularly well-played second set from Graudina and Harward, and a very exciting match to watch. You saw defensive play after defensive play, bodies flying all over the court.
So the finals are set. Tina Graudina, Haley Harward, the 8th seed, after upsetting the 3 seed in the semis, will face off against Julia Scholes and Gina Urango, the 11th seeded team, pulling off their own upset over the 2 seed, and we are going to have a very exciting final that will be played here on Stadium Court at 2 p.m. local time. But for now, that'll do it for us here on Stadium Court in Fort Lauderdale. For my partner, Rich Lamborn, this is Matt Prosser. It's been a pleasure. Stay with us here for more action on Championship Sunday from AVP Fort Lauderdale.
Thank you.